frozen alien dragon family begged the human foreman for shelter. Then something incredible happened. The mining colony of Brask. 7 wasn't a place for miracles. It was a frozen rock at the edge of known space, where temperatures dipped low enough to freeze exposed skin in under a minute, and the only life was the stubborn kind, miners, mechanics, and the hardy alien beasts that could survive out there. Jace Mercer had been foreman of the colony for 8 years. He'd seen rock slides bury half a crew, machinery torn apart by ice storms, and men lose fingers to frostbite. But he'd never seen this. It was late in the shift when the first alarm blared, not the shrill klaxon for a mine collapse, but the low, resonant chime that signaled motion outside the compound's perimeter. He pulled on his thermal coat, grabbed his sidearm, and stepped out into the howling wind. Through the snow haze, he saw them. Dragons. Not the mythical kind from old Earth tales, but Variths, winged, scaled predators from the frozen mountains beyond the mining zone. There were 3 of them, 2 adults and a smaller one, half the size, with wings that drooped and trembled. Their scales were a deep iridescent blue, rimmed with frost. They were moving slow. Too slow. The lead adult, likely the mother, took a staggering step toward the compound, her talons sinking deep into the snow. Then she did something that nearly made Jace drop his weapon. She lowered her head. It wasn't a hunting posture. It was a plea. The smaller dragon collapsed into the snow, shuddering violently. The second adult crouched protectively over it, his eyes fixed on Jace, not in threat, but in desperation. Jace's calm crackled with the voice of Rao, the colony security chief. Foreman, those things are killers. Permission to open fire? Jace stared at the huddled family in the snow. Their wings were coated in ice, their breathing ragged. He could almost feel the pain radiating off them. Negative, he said sharply. Open the outer gate. Now! There was a stunned pause. Sir, with respect. Do it. Jace barked. The gates groaned open and Jace stepped aside. The mother dragon moved first, limping into the compound. The father followed, carrying the limp juvenile by gently gripping the base of its neck. They settled in the lee of the hangar, out of the worst of the wind. Up close, Jace could see frostbite on the juvenile's wing membranes and deep cracks in the adult scales. They'd been caught in the storm too long. He grabbed his comm again. Get me the med unit. And somebody find me heat lamps, biggest we've got. When the medics arrived, they hesitated. None of them had treated a dragon before. But Jace knelt beside the juvenile without hesitation, pulling off his gloves to check the pulse beneath the cold scales. It was faint but steady. He remembered a winter back on Earth years ago, when he'd pulled a half-frozen shepherd pup from a ditch. The same fragility was here, despite the fangs and claws. Easy, kid, he murmured. We've got you. They worked through the night, patching wounds, thawing ice from wings, and setting up a ring of heat lamps. The adults watched every movement, their golden eyes tracking each medic's hand. Jace was the only one they allowed to get close without a warning hiss. By morning, the juvenile stirred, letting out a weak, trilling cry. The mother answered with a sound that made the hair on Jace's arm stand up, not from fear, but from the raw relief in it. Then something happened that no one in the colony would forget. The mother dragon rose, towering over Jace. For a heartbeat, he thought she might finally decide they were too close to her young. Instead, she lowered her head until her snout was inches from his chest. Her breath washed over him in warm clouds. Then, slowly, she pressed the side of her head against him. It wasn't aggression. It was gratitude. The father did the same, touching his muzzle briefly to Jace's shoulder before turning to the juvenile's side. Around them, the miners and medics stared in silent awe. From that day on, the dragons didn't leave. They stayed in the mountains near the compound, sometimes vanishing for days, but always returning. They hunted for the colony during shortages, circling overhead to drive off ice predators. And when storms came, they would land on the compound walls, shielding the gates with their massive bodies until the worst had passed. Jace never called them pets, never called them tamed. They were allies, earned, not owned, and all it had taken was opening a gate when everyone else would have shut it.